Hello, and welcome to another edition of Copy Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. So it's almost that time of year again where H-1B's are getting ready to be filed. But this year, unlike the prior ones, they've actually moved up the dates. Normally, we would wait until April 1st, get it all filed on that weekend, and then, 1 or 2 weeks after that, all the H-1B's would be used up, and then 1 or 2 weeks after that, the advanced degree H-1B's would be used up. But this year, they have decided to move it to March 9th. So that's nearly a month ahead of time, and it's right around the corner. So if you have the opportunity to get petitioned and apply for an H-1B, then that time would be now to get prepared because you have to get prepared the cover letter, the declarations, the forms, the exhibits, the LCA, the prevailing wage. There's all kinds of stuff that needs to be done in order to move forward. Now, keep in mind that with an H-1B, it doesn't have to be full time, it could be part time. But again, the wage has to be the prevailing wage, which many times is higher than you would like. However, when Trump was still in office, he tried to create all kinds of ways to alter the way prevailing wages were determined. And the reality was it was going to make it much higher than they really were. But luckily, when Biden got in office, all those provisions were either revoked, reversed, or put on hold for further review. So the same way of determining the prevailing wage still exists. Now, there's a question that arises many times when people applying for H-1Bs are students, or they're finishing up their F1, or they're finishing up their OPTs, and they want to now get into F1. The issue, or they want to get H-1B. The issue that they run into is that they're, let's say, for example, the F1 ends this year in May. Let's say that's the last semester of their education and or OPT. However you look at it, let's say it's May. And let's say they apply in a timely manner and they submit for the H-1B in March, but it doesn't have a start date until next October. That's always the way it is. So there's that time between May, when the F1 ends, and October, when the H-1B begins. They basically have no status. So that's 4 months. And the way it used to be is during that time, they couldn't stay in the country. They'd have to leave the country. They'd have to then go back to their home country for a few months. Then they'd have to get an appointment at the consulate, get everything prepared that way. And then hopefully the H-1B approval would be sent in time and come back if they got the visa for the October 1st start. Well, some laws have come into effect that take care of this. It's called cap gap. Okay, and cap gap is exactly what it says. It bridges the cap between, or the gap between when your F1 is finished and when the H-1B begins. So by filing the H-1B in a timely manner, it automatically extends your F1 or your OPT, whichever you have current at the time, all the way until the end of September, so that come October 1st, you can start on your new H-1B position. Now, here's the caveat. While it does extend it automatically, if you're not picked for an H-1B, which in today's day and age, that's going to be about a 75% possibility, then the moment you find out you're not picked for the H-1B, your status will end. Or the moment the H-1B is denied, your status will end. So while you can certainly properly file the H-1B and get the extension for the cap gap, you have to be aware of when it could end if things don't go your way. And also, if you have more than one job offer, you need to only file one H-1B because the immigration doesn't look kindly at people who are trying to get one of the limited H-1Bs and file several applications with several employers just to see what hits. Sometimes they'll actually all of them as a lesson to not do that. Okay, so that in essence is the bottom line on H-1Bs coming up and the cap gap. If you like the video, click like, subscribe, and more on the coming videos. Thank you.